So, where do the Raiders stand? Offensively, we've got weapons, but the O-line needs more protection for Geno. Defensively, we're nasty, but another elite playmaker could make us unstoppable. The trade deadline is our chance to fix those gaps, and with Tom Brady's influence and Carroll's win-now mentality, you know something big is brewing. What's the one position you think the Raiders need to target before November 5th? Let me know in the comments, because this is where it gets juicy. Raider Nation, we're not just playing for respect this year. We're chasing a Super Bowl. Stick with me as we break down the top trade targets that could turn Las Vegas into a powerhouse. Up next, we're diving into a rumor that's got everyone talking. Could a superstar pass rusher be headed to the silver and black? Micah Parsons to the Raiders? Hold up, Raider Nation. Let's talk about the rumor that's blowing up the internet. Micah Parsons, the Dallas Cowboys All-Pro linebacker, requested a trade earlier this month, and the Las Vegas Raiders are one of the teams being floated as a possible landing spot. Yeah, you heard that right. Micah freaking Parsons in silver and black. According to a post on X from Rap Sheet, Parsons' trade request is stirring up chaos, with Jerry Jones calling it just part of negotiations. But let's be real. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Why would the Raiders want Parsons? Simple. Pairing him with Max Crosby would create the most terrifying pass rush duo in the NFL. Crosby's already a sack machine, with 12.5 sacks in 2024 per NFL.com stats, and Parsons racked up 14 sacks last season. Imagine those two hunting quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. Good luck. AFC. The Raiders' defense allowed 24.6 points per game last year, and adding a playmaker like Parsons could drop that number and make us a top 10 unit. Plus, with Pete Carroll's defensive schemes, Parsons would be a perfect fit. But here's the catch. What would it cost? The Cowboys would likely demand a haul. Think multiple first-round picks and maybe a player like Jacorian Bennett or Zamir White. Raiders.com has been quiet on this, but the buzz on X suggests Brady and GM Tom Telesco are ready to go all in. The question is, can Las Vegas afford to mortgage the future for a guy who could take us to the promised land? And would Parsons vibe with the Raider Nation's gritty culture? What do you think, fam? Is Micah Parsons worth 2 first-rounders, or should we save our picks for the draft? Drop your take in the comments, and let's keep this train rolling. Up next, we've got another wild rumor that could shake up the Raiders' offense. Stay tuned. A wide receiver to boost the offense. Raider Nation, let's switch gears to the offense. Geno Smith's looking solid, and Brock Bowers is a matchup nightmare. But our wide receiver room could use a spark. The latest rumor making waves on X is that the Raiders are eyeing a trade for Washington Commanders star Terry McLaurin. That's right, Scary Terry could be rocking the silver and black before the November 5th deadline. At Rap Sheet mentioned on X that 6 teams are in the mix for McLaurin, and Las Vegas is a dark horse. Why McLaurin? The dude, a consistent 1,000-yard receiver with 1,053 yards in 2024 despite spotty QB play, per Pro Football Reference. Pairing him with Bowers and Jacoby Myers would give Geno a legit WR1 to stretch the field. The Raiders' passing game ranked 18th last season, averaging 215 yards per game, and McLaurin's speed and route running could push us into the top 10. Plus, his veteran presence would mesh perfectly with Pete Carroll's no-nonsense culture. The cost, though, could be steep. Washington might ask for a second-round pick and a player, maybe a young defender like Tyree Wilson. LasVegasRaiders.com hasn't confirmed any talks, but the fan base on X is hyped, with some calling McLaurin the missing piece for a playoff run. The big question is whether the Raiders can balance this move with their defensive needs, especially after the Booker Bennett trade. Could McLaurin be the guy to unlock our offense, or is the price too high? Raider Nation, would you trade a second-rounder for Terry McLaurin, or should we focus on defense? Hit the comments with your thoughts, and don't go anywhere. We've got one more bombshell rumor to unpack. A quarterback controversy? All right, Raider Nation, brace yourselves. This one's a game changer. There's a wild rumor floating around that the Las Vegas Raiders could be in the market for a new quarterback before the trade deadline. Yeah, I know, Geno Smith's our guy, and he's been balling in camp, but hear me out. Posts on X are buzzing about Aaron Rodgers, who's a free agent after parting ways with the Jets, potentially joining the Raiders for a short-term deal. And if that's not enough, there's talk of Kirk Cousins hitting the trade block if the Falcons struggle early. Why would the Raiders consider this? Geno's solid, with 3,474 yards and 20 TDs in 2024 per ESPN stats. But he's 35, and the Raiders might want a bigger name to push for the playoffs. Rodgers, at 41, still has elite arm talent and could thrive under Carroll's system, especially with Brady's backing. Cousins, meanwhile, threw for 4,093 yards last season and could be a perfect bridge QB if Atlanta tanks. A trade for Cousins might cost a third-round pick, while Rodgers could sign as a free agent per X speculation. The downside? Trading for a QB could mess with team chemistry, and Rodgers' drama might not sit well with Raider Nation. LasVegasRaiders.com hasn't hinted at any QB moves, but the trade deadline is all about surprises. Imagine Rodgers or Cousins throwing to Bowers and maybe McLaurin. Could that be our ticket to the AFC Championship? Or is Geno the guy to lead us forward? What's your call, Raider Nation? Stick with Geno, chase Rodgers, or make a play for Cousins? Drop your hot takes in the comments. And let's wrap this up with a look at what these moves mean for our Super Bowl dreams. Raider Nation, we're at the edge of something huge. The 2025 trade deadline could be the moment the Las Vegas Raiders go from pretenders to contenders. Whether it's landing Micah Parsons to terrorize QBs, snagging Terry McLaurin to light up the offense, or rolling the dice on a veteran like Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins, the Silver and Black are ready to make noise. The clock's ticking. November 5th is coming fast, and Pete Carroll, Tom Brady, and the Raiders front office are cooking up something epic. Let's talk about it, fam. Which trade do you want to see most? Parsons, McLaurin, or a new QB? Or should we stand pat and trust the squad we've got? Hit the comments, and let's get this debate popping. And yo, if you're hyped for more Las Vegas Raiders news, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell so you don't miss a single update. Share this video with your fellow Raider fans, because we're building a movement. This is Silver and Black Insider, signing off. Let's go get that Super Bowl, Raider Nation. Peace.